This is the Variety Show 2024. This is going to be a fun video where we're going to talk about places to live. And I spent a lot of time thinking about, what's your personal heaven? If you could live anywhere you wanted to, pick any state, any city, or even a different country outside of the United States, where is your heaven? Where would you want to live? Short of heaven itself, where would you want to live? You could live anywhere you want. And I spent a lot of time researching it, thinking about it, watched a lot of documentaries and videos about best places to live and crime rates and affordable housing and weather and all the issues that go into that. And at the moment, it's changeable, because I've evolved. And I'll probably change again. But at the moment, if I could pick any place I want, I'm down to Austin, Texas. Seems like a really fun place to live to me. Austin, Texas, the Texas state capital, deep in the heart of Texas. Austin, Texas would be my number one choice because it seems, I just feel a connection to it. I feel like I could see myself being happy in a place like that. It's part of the Sun Belt. You got the sunshine, you got the weather, you got the surrounding areas, which seem very beautiful from what I've seen. It just seems, though I have heard that a lot of Californians have moved. I have heard that it's been Californiized. There's a lot of homeless. It also has a healthy homeless population, and it's got problems. It has some bad policies, and there's other Texas cities that have better politics. But putting that aside, that part, perhaps you wouldn't really be affected by the fact that some parts have become run down. But I mean, or Texas generally, maybe another part of Texas, but Austin, Texas seems like a nice area, or at least it used to be. But at the moment, that's probably what I would say. But outside of Austin, Texas, looking at overall everything, obviously not Florida. I mean, look what happened with those storms. And I would say, Southern California sounds great, if it wasn't for all the problems and the wildfires, the earthquake, but and the bad politics, that the California coast seems like a very spectacular, exciting place to live. And I'd even say, though it's out of the country, I'd even say Canada if it wasn't, again, I don't necessarily want anything outside the United States, but Canada, even though it's a colder weather place, if it wasn't for, again, Trudeau, bad politics, crazy politicians, but it just seems very beautiful. I've been there twice. I mean, just huge and country and pristine. I like that it's pristine and clean and just has and it's almost like the 51st state, even though it is another country. Canada's it's hard for me to think of it as another country. I almost think of it as the 51st state because it doesn't really feel like you're going into another country. So technically, I'd say even Canada would be a nice place to live. But I'd prefer to stay in the United States. But there is no perfect place. That's the bottom. There is no perfect place, and I keep reaching that conclusion, no matter how hard I look. And I know on social media everyone's saying go to Bangkok, Thailand, and going to other parts of the world and Brazil and Dominican. I see all these people saying they got a great life and they found some kind of heaven overseas somewhere. But you all you need is a typhoon or some kind of disaster to change that overnight. So that's not it either. Um, and there is no perfect place. I keep reaching the same conclusion. There is no perfect place. And at the moment, and I know Nashville, Tennessee is picking up a lot of population and different states where people are moving to a lot, like Idaho and Utah and different places that are doing very well. And I know Las Vegas and Nevada, all over social media, people. But that could change too there in Las Vegas and Phoenix and other places that people want to go to because of the weather and so forth. But at the moment, I off the top of my head, I mean, I'd really say either Austin, Texas, or generally somewhere in Texas, because Texas seems like a good, solid state. You got the weather, you got a state that's self-sufficient, you got good politics, you got a state that has, I've heard, just a high growth, very high growth. Very high growth all over, not just Austin, but even outside of Austin. Texas generally, it's just so massively big. There's got to be somewhere good in Texas. So you can leave me comments on this. This is The Variety Show 2024.